In addiction, in recovery, there's always going to be tolerances of managing our emotions. There's always going to be that fine balance of delicacy. Hitting the rock bottom is something nobody wants. Waking up from hitting rock bottom is one of the worst feelings ever. The reason why it's so painful and the reason why it's so difficult is because the only person that I can blame for getting to that moment, the only person that I can blame, the only person responsible to that outcome is me. And that's a very hard pill to swallow. Ego, it's driving the narrative, manifesting itself. I'm paying homage to it to the point that it's driving my decision-making process. It's pushing away my family members and friends. I'm losing the job, I'm losing the girl, and none of it is my fault. When my ego and my pride drive themselves so deeply into my life, and then everything else starts being pushed away, this is the beginning of hitting rock bottom. It's not until you've lost the job or the girl, or you lose your house, or it's measured in loss. Loss for one person might mean the world to them. In the alcoholic brain, in the addict mind, measuring loss is big, but individual battles are lost along the way. Culminate those tiny little battles, those little tiny losses add up to hitting rock bottom. And it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible thought because it's in that moment when I wake up from hitting rock bottom. I don't understand why I'm there. I'm feeling really bad and really crappy. That's where I'm raw. That's where I'm open. And that's where I become willing. And the next part is, am I ready? Am I open, willing, and ready? Am I brave enough to ask for help? Am I brave enough to have the capacity to seek for assistance outside of my ego? Is there something bigger than my pride out there? Admitting that there's something bigger than me, recognizing it, and then reaching out for help. That's the foundation around the early stages of recovery. But it's not until I hit rock bottom that I'm in a position where I'm ready to move forward. There were conversations people would have with me, and they would come from a good place, and it didn't matter if it was my parents, if it was a friend or my girlfriend. They would say, you know what, Jason, I think a habit has become a problem. And because I wasn't open, willing, and ready, I had the blinders on. I don't know if you can relate to this. Once I have blinders on, there's nothing that's going to get through my blinders. There's nothing that's going to overcome my ego. There's nothing that's going to seep its way through my pride. As I've built this wall up and I've pushed everyone away, it's created a moat and nothing is going to get through it. So what has to happen? Well, the moat has to be dried out, the walls have to crumble down, and there has to be this raw, sore emotion that's sitting in there, and then it becomes open. And then when it's faced with nothing else but to grow, that's the moment where you've hit rock bottom. That's the point where you reach out and you say, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to move forward. I don't know what direction my moral compass is facing, but what I've been doing so far hasn't really been working out for me. What can I do to make this better? This is what rock bottom is. This is where I would say the eyes become open and I'm now in a position where I can move forward. Whereas before I couldn't do that with my resentment